Anticipation awakens the skin, vibrates the air with promise, like a distant song arching its encore above the trees, above rooftop patios, into our playgrounds, alleyways, and cafes. Where summer festivals, hugs, and handshakes planted into memories like mustard seeds. While our timeline sprouted memorials, movements, viral dance videos, and pandemic disease. We will emerge from under this shroud, each of us carrying forward a small corner, a thread of life stretched less tightly across our muscles and frame. Where we're going isn't where we've been. Unease, foreign and familiar, all over again. And again, we bake maybe into mission. Stir elevation with intuition. Lean into the hiss of electrical currents coursing inside our layered possibility. Wonderment prickles our excitement. Like the radiant sunrise pouring its colors across the sky, splattering light against drugstore windows and buses, into our kitchens and morning cups of tea, we shine in natural light, in distilled mantras and memory, in fervent imagination and shared history. 414. We have never been here all over again before, creating new days all over again. We are 414. Our new day is coming.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to You've Got a Thing, an interview thing about theater things in Milwaukee.
I like it.
Yeah, that's close enough to the actual tagline for today. So my name is Tim Rebers. I'm the artistic director at Brew City Opera, and I am really thrilled to be the host and interviewing Amber Regan about Sunstone Studios. So Amber, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Sunstone Studios?
Sure. Yeah, so I am an actor from the area, also a mom, so I don't get to do as much as I would like to do necessarily, but I try to do a couple shows a year. And, during the first part of the shutdown, when everything was closed and we started seeing spaces just one after the other announce their permanent closure, Jim Neuner reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you know anything about this space on Wells Street?" And because I had done 2 shows here. And so we started very light conversations about, well, what should we think about, saving that space, keeping it alive. It had been a theater space in Milwaukee for somewhere between 20 and 30 years. We found up above the drop ceiling in one of the rooms a sign that we know in 2000 they were doing things here and they were doing things at the Pabst. So we started having those early conversations, and should we? And if we should, what should it look like? I don't know if you're familiar with this space, but it is, it's a small storefront theater across the street from the Rep and the Pabst. It's the kind of space that we just thought needed to stay alive for artists in Milwaukee. And so we started those conversations and gathering people about what should we do. And so we've just started building that team and cleaning the space up. Theater companies can be hoarders. We don't like to throw things away because there's the risk that we might need it someday. So
Yes.
yeah, this space, having been a theater for that long, there's been a lot of sifting through things.
Very tactful.
Yes, there's been a lot of trying to figure out what should stay and what shouldn't, and they left everything. The seats, the lights. There were a few things that were not here, but for the most part, it was what's here, what needs to stay, how do we clean it up. It had been closed for I guess 10 months by the time we came in, and then how are we going to use the space in the future?
Awesome. Great. So, what is your timeline for Sunstone Studios going forward? Because you're still sort of in the midst of coming to life, correct?
Yeah, with everything with COVID, it's such a guessing game.
Mm-hmm.
Add, city licensing, and that's a guessing game. But with the way things are starting to open up, we've kind of discussed a soft open this summer. That's our thing. So the first thing we're going to do is a artist retreat that we're calling Create Tomorrow, TMW. And it's a collection of theater, movement, and writing, and a way of processing and becoming unbroken after a year of that part of us, the performing arts part, being disconnected, right? Because we haven't been able to do it with live audiences or any sorts of live performances in a way that feels like what we know and we're comfortable with. So we're going to do 4 of those over the June and July, looking at about 12 artists that have come together, and we'll do some work with the intention of creation. What is it that we can take from these past months of being isolated, and what do we want to keep with us and move forward, and how do we want to change with it, and how do we want to heal ourselves from everything that we just lived through. So that, a lot of us that are performing artists, that first performance in front of a live audience is going to have so much weight, right?
Right.
And so, we're going to perform for each other in that retreat so that we can release some of that weight and just do our jobs well going forward.
Great. So what sort of artists are you hoping to get for the Summer Artist Intensive, and are you still looking for artists to participate in that?
Yeah. So the registration form should go live this weekend on our website. And really we're looking for building that community again. So we want actors, we want singers, we want dancers, we want writers, because we've been so isolated, and as we start to create these new things again, let's find new ways to come together.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do some journaling work, and maybe we'll have that writer partner with a dancer and say, how do we use what you wrote, and then make a dancer write something, and kind of support each other through.
You make the writer dance something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we've had conversations about, okay, there are 3 of us working on kind of designing what the week will look like. It's Posey Knight, Lynetta, Alexander Islam, and myself. And Lynetta was like, okay, I am an introvert. I have not moved in the entire pandemic. And now how are we going to work that movement piece so that it supports someone like me too? So we've had a lot of those conversations about, how do we make that successful, that bringing those pieces together, with the intent of, this is healing work, right? It's not just, because actors, we can enjoy our good cries. It's not just the good cry. It's about getting us to that performance.
So there's an element of therapy, some therapeutic work, but it's also with the intention of moving towards performing for a public again, correct?
Yeah, and I would say, rather than therapeutic, it's the release, right?
Yeah.
It's the release of it. No, acknowledging that it's there and letting it go. And each day we kind of focus on, day one is really, all of our activities are on that broken piece. And then the next day it's about finding our center. And the next day it's about finding our joy as performers. And each of those moments are really about taking us forward and into the next creation that we can come up with as artists.
Wonderful. That's really great. So I also see something about Sonnets 2021. Do you want to tell me about that? It looks really interesting.
Yeah. So part of the way we've come together with this space is that long-term goals, that it is owned by as many members of the community as is appropriate. And with that ownership, we want there to be a very intentionally diverse ownership. And looking at the hurdles, right? So some of those hurdles are not everybody has money to come in, not everybody has time to come in, and really starting to craft and support. There are a million ways that people can contribute to a space like this and bringing it to life and have an ownership in it. And so we've invited people from the beginning, come in, you can help clean if that's where you process not being in a theater for a long time. You can reorganize if that's your thing, not my thing. You can paint the walls, whatever it is that helps you in the space. And one of the people that has come in consistently from almost the beginning has, just this lovely, peaceful energy. And she'll spend a good bit of time spackling these walls that have had theater on them for 30 years. The walls are a disaster. And she said that she wanted to figure out a way to support. And she came up with this idea, and it's Maura Atwood. And she said, I would love to see 2021 sonnets read over the summer as a kind of a fundraiser for the space, so that there are lots of people that can start to participate even before we can have, full audiences in here. So we're going to do some of these, Maura's designed these pop-up moments where people can show up, read a sonnet, hear a sonnet, with the intention of really that friend building and finding more ways for people to connect with each other through, developing this intentionally diverse community for Sunstone.
Cool. So I assume that the website, sunstonestudiosmke.com, has all the information there.
So with the sonnets, it's really, Maura is leading it. Okay. So there's a Facebook group, and part of this pop-up idea is there are some scheduled, not necessarily released dates, but so that people are kind of actively looking and coming back to it. So there is a Facebook group, Sonnets 2021, and we can share that. I don't know, through here or on our
I'm
website.
sure Jimberlin's on it if it's possible. She's great.
Cool. And with that, they have tied a GoFundMe that has been just a very humbling moment, because we haven't read a sonnet and people are already supporting,
Great.
There's a lot of work. They left us a lot here, but there's also a lot of work that still needs to be done. And then when you take in kind of the new COVID protocols, we want to make sure we're doing that the right way. So the GoFundMe is working toward kind of bringing the space sound and safety up to code. And
wonderful. Mm-hmm. So the GoFundMe is one way that people can get involved in helping out. What are some other ways that people, if they feel moved, like this sounds like a great new theater company that I want to support, what are other things that they can do to get involved to help out?
So instead of theater company, we're really looking to be more of a kind of artist incubation. We'll do minimal co-productions in-house, but most of what we want to do is save the space for small companies to come and play. So that it's intended to be a community space. So all of these young artists that maybe have never produced something come in and do that sort of work here. And so again, because you never know how you need to get there, there are plenty of places that still need to be painted and cleaned. And people can come help that way. They can, give to the GoFundMe. They can, if somebody has an idea, we need to test the space out. Like I said, I'm an actor. I'm not a director. I am not a producer. But we need to get a show in here to see if our best guess of where the seats go and where things happen makes sense. Right. So if somebody has, a little something that they want to try out this summer, come on in. Let's talk about how we can make that work, because, figuring out how the space works, how the ticketing works, it's all new to me and to the rest of our team for this space. So figuring out those kind of things. If somebody has an idea, bring it in. We're really focused on that intentional diversity. So the scheduling of the rentals and of the performances will be guided by that mission. So if it doesn't work right off the bat because we already have someone that is like you in some way, there are other months that we can play with down the line, and we'd like to do that. So what did I say? So come in and volunteer, come in and paint, come in and claim your wall that you will own forever. Feel free to, support the GoFundMe, support the sonnets, because, getting just audience members there would be fun, or sharing some other language sonnets, people other than Mr. Shakespeare, see if we can figure out, how to make that more dynamic. And then, come with ideas for how to use the space and test the space and see what we can play with. I guess I didn't say it is a black box. So
that was going to be my next question. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a black box. We're currently setting up as 3/4.
Okay.
But it can be shifted in just about any way. Most of the seating will be on risers that will then shift as we need to. What's kind of behind me, we're keeping somewhat permanent because that's our booth up there.
Great. Awesome.
So that there's an easy path to the booth. But there are lots of flexible ways of using the theater space. And then we have 2 additional studios that we're calling kind of rehearsal studio size. And then 1 smaller studio that's conference room, podcast room size as well. So there's lots of ways that someone can come in and play with, whether it's just the rehearsal space, or if they want to use that rehearsal space as part of the performance and use the whole space as part of their performance. We're flexible with how that can be used.
Yeah, that sounds like a really interesting, versatile space, and a lot of cool opportunities for that. What are you sort of envisioning as far as, you said the seating was flexible and stuff like that. What is the sort of general seating size? And I know COVID protocols are always in flux, but like imagine that there's a point down the line where we can sort of go back to something semi-normal. What's the sort of seating size look like?
Yeah, so we're intentionally keeping it small. So we're looking at 45 to 49, depending on how we use the space, unless someone else has another idea.
Right.
But really, it's important to us that it is a small space, and we honor that. Like, there's an intimacy to performing in this type of environment, and performers need to be comfortable with that sort of intimacy, audience members as well. We've given maybe a little more leg room because of that in our seating, but we've kept it between 45 and 50. I've heard rumors that there have been up to 70 audience members in this space, and something like 25 performers.
Wow.
They did big things in a little space, but we're looking for that 45 to 49. Yeah,
that's wonderful, and I think that there's probably a lot of smaller companies in Milwaukee that are looking for more intimate, reasonably affordable sort of spaces. So I'm really glad to hear about this, and I'm hoping that there's other people listening and watching right now who are also rubbing their chins thinking about how we can utilize that space. So that's really wonderful. So Amber, is there anything else about the mission or about some of the plans that you're really excited about that you would like to share, or also just share again with us anywhere else that you'd like people to visit?
Yeah, so the website, which Jamie Lynn keeps popping up, Sunstone Studios, MKE, it's, it gives the base knowledge of the space, but a lot of it is we're looking for partners, and our mission is truly focusing on that intentional diversity and keeping it a space accessible to a lot of the disenfranchised performers, and making sure we have a space where they can safely and bravely perform. When you have a small audience like this, you can take big risks and learn big things about yourself. So that intentional diversity that I've talked about, we're really looking to have 40% Black, Brown companies come through, 40%, no more than 40% white companies come through, and then 20% not Black, Brown, or white. And with all of those kind of intentional diversity of race, it is necessary that there is that intersectionality, right? Making sure we are holding space within those breakdowns for LGBTQ community, for maybe religions that sometimes have a hard time finding their way through because of thoughts about those religions, and making sure that we're saving and reserving space so that everyone has an opportunity to speak in an environment that's small and safe and willing to take big risks with them.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So again, I would say that's, and we're looking for partners, because of that idea that currently, because we had to do this in the middle of a pandemic, I am the owner founder. A year from now, it is not appropriate for me to be the only owner. And it's not about money. It's about how we can come together and create that team of owners that represents that sort of intentional diversity. So those will be the deciding factors of who and how we build that ownership team a year from now. This first year is about finding the right partners, the people that want to come in and help us create a space that is from the beginning designed with intentionality toward diversity and not trying to figure out how to fix it later.
Great. So for those of you out there who are hearing that as your call, sounds like talk to Amber and go to sunstonestudiosmke.com and become a involved member into the community. And I think that sounds like about it. Yeah. Well, so thank you very much for being on You've Got a Thing. The way this usually goes is the previous interviewee becomes the interviewer.
Yes.
So hopefully you'll be able to share a little bit more next week with whoever Jamie Lynn gets to show up and talk about their wares. But thank you so much for being a part of You've Got a Thing, and all the best in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I mean, it's nice to start to get to talk about theater again in a way that feels like, oh, we can do it.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's so cool to have that. Like, it is spring, but it's starting to feel like it's springtime for theater again. Like things are starting to bubble up to the surface. So that's really wonderful.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Jamie Lynn, out there in the ether.
I'm totally out here in the ether. You said springtime for theater and all. Like,
I know. I said, I was like, springtime for theater.
Oh, theater nerd.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we can't help it. I love like just being like the secret shadow back here. Sorry, like I didn't even because for those of you who don't know, Tim was having technical difficulties this morning, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to host, and I'm like, I don't even have time to change my weird sweatshirt and stuff. So I'm super professional today. Amber's all like, dressed up, and you've got like your nice sweater, and I'm like, all right, let's talk about some theater. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Beforehand, Amber was like, she's got the camera and lights, and I'm just sort of like, I hope my internet holds out.
Well, and Jim, speaking of like, how we're starting to move forward and people are getting vaccinated and things are starting to maybe, get back to live. I do hope that we get to do this program live from somewhere at some time.
Yeah, maybe at Sunstone Studios. Who knows?
It's something that we've talked about, that Sunstone would be a great home for this program for sure. So I'm really excited about that. But let's talk about some other programming that we've got going on here. Let's see what we've got. We've got this right now, like tomorrow, Pink Umbrella Theater is looking for actors. It's a $500 stipend, which is not like a kick in the pants. So it's a new piece written by James Fletcher, love that guy, and movement direction by Molly Kiefer. They're gonna do a Zoom learned narrative type thing. You can contact Katie Cummings, the artistic director over there, Katie at pinkUmbrellaTheater.org for more information on that. If you're an actor looking for a gig, reach out to them. Great organization that is built on providing opportunities for persons who identify with a disability. So get on that. And then next we've got, they also have, all their summer programming is coming out. So if you have persons in your life who identify with a disability, who are looking for classes, this is the place to go. My own daughter has done class and show over at Pink Umbrella, and I highly, highly recommend it. Just a wonderful group of angelic persons over that way. So if you know people who identify with disabilities, who are like, there's never anything for me in the summertime, here's the thing:
outdoor class, virtual class.
These are all outdoor. I believe that's what they're looking for. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Get out
that's
in
like
nature.
Better than indoor anyway.
Of course, for sure. And then and act and sing and dance and all the whole nines. So, maybe you'll see Aurora and me there.
That would be cool.
Skylight.
Kids' Rights.
Skylight have you done Kids' Rights?
I have. I've watched it.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't been involved because I'm not cool enough. Because only the coolest people do Kids' Rights.
Well, do they have like mentors or anything like that? Like,
what do you mean?
Type people, I was just wondering if you had been involved.
It's basically it's like the musical theater SEALs team, meaning like the crack team of the best, writer performer group in town, doing amazing, stuff written originally by kids.
I think it just sounds. I haven't seen it myself, but I'm going to this year. Their theme this year is time capsule. So yeah, just like Mr. Rebers was explaining, kids write this stuff and then professionals perform it.
Yeah, and if you're unfamiliar with Kids' Rights, what they do is they will like sort of prompt kids of sort of ages. I'm not sure exactly what the ages are, but let's say like 6 to 12-year-olds.
It's something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
3rd through 8th grade.
3rd through 8th grade. So I wasn't too far off. So like 8 to 14, something like that. Yes. And the kids will write something, and then they have local composers create music, and then they have performers perform it, but they don't change what the kids have written at all. They keep all the spelling mistakes, they keep all the grammar mistakes, because they want the kids to see their thing performed as written. And sometimes, they learn that if you spell it wrong, then it sounds different. And it is funny, but it gives them that sense of agency and autonomy that like they're seeing the exact thing they wrote on stage. So this one is going to be a virtual performance, I understand. So they've already like filmed it, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's available right now. It's available
right now
through June 13th. I have it right there. So go to skylightmusictheatre.org. They also just released some information about a summer stock high school program Skylight did. This looks super awesome. It's for both performers and technicians. Then it's led by Skylight's education department, Monday through Friday, June 28th through July 30th. It will
applications accepted through May 21st. So get on it.
Yeah. So that's 2 weeks from now. So get on it. And there will be 3 public performances of the 2021 Broadway revival of Godspell on July 30th, 31st, and August 1st at the Cabot. So you get to perform in the
awesome.
Cabot and the whole 9. There is a stipend, and you have to, there is a tuition, and you have to put in a brief statement about why you love whatever chosen art form theatrical art form it is. And you can go to, again, skylightmusictheatre.org for that. We have new members. We made it happen. Well, they made it happen. It's not me.
You didn't force them at gunpoint or anything?
Well, I didn't say that. It's me we're talking about. Kids from Wisconsin has jumped on board. They have a great new executive director, Michael Sander. He was just on a couple weeks ago. Just amazing, real, you can feel the energy from that person, and that kind of human being. And so I'm so excited to have him on board. And Kids from Wisconsin. I had my aunt and my mother were in Kids from Wisconsin years ago, so it's in my bloodline. I didn't do it because I'm too scared. No. And then cooperative performance, which, Kids from Wisconsin, for anybody who doesn't know, I just think everybody knows it because I know it. And right. Then, another friend was like, people who know Kids from Wisconsin, they're like, everybody knows Kids from Wisconsin. But for those who don't, Kids from Wisconsin, they've been around since 1969, over 50 seasons. They tour the Midwest doing Broadway style reviews. When I saw it years ago, it really was like excellent show choir is really
it's super profesh.
Yeah. And they've got all these, and they've got kids now playing instruments. Go to their website. They've got a great video to show you what it's all about. And you can sign up to have them come to you. So
like my doorstep?
Maybe. Do you have like an amphitheater in your doorstep?
No, I just want a singing telegram, but all of Kids from Wisconsin.
My aunt also did singing telegrams. So it's a family thing. Anyway, kidsfromwisconsin.org. You can go there. I went through and looked through the list briefly. They're going to, my alma mater. They're going to the Leach Amphitheater in Oshkosh. They're going to my hometown of Manitowoc. Woo! It's great. Good times. So again, go to kidsfromwisconsin.org and check out where they're going to be at, or if you'd like them to come to you, go there as well. And then Cooperative Performance, a great company here in town who really invest in and promote new and innovative performance art, scripts that are reimagined and remixed, and they really break down the barriers between what theater, dance, and music is. So it's a great company to have involved in the Theater Alliance to have from that perspective. But they have members, and that's what the co-op is all about. And you get a membership, and then you can submit your own projects, and just a great organization. So we welcome both of those orgs to our little teeny tiny Milwaukee Theater Alliance. Again, go to Kids from Wisconsin, check out their live and living color video. It's great. And then Cooperative Performance actually has a project going on right now through May 16th called Thunder Domestic. It's an interactive narrative dance theater experience directed by Zach Byron Scorch. So cooperativeperformance.org for that. There are also non members. Florentine Opera has things going on. Next Act has things going on. Milwaukee Chamber Theater has things going on. All in Production. All in Productions has their diversity generals they're accepting. Brew City Opera has. What is your ongoing project?
L'ultima canzone is the free podcast that we just launched last Tuesday. We got super great feedback already, and the next podcast episode is dropping this next coming Tuesday. It's going to be episode 2 of 8. Yeah, so if you haven't checked it out yet, go ahead. It's going to be at our YouTube channel, Brew City Opera. You can also go to brewcityopera.com to find out more stuff about that, but we would love to have you give it a listen, share it with your friends. We really like it, and we've heard a lot of other people really like it too. Even people who don't think they necessarily think they like opera. And it's all free, so just enjoy. And if you like it enough to give us money, you can give us some money, but you can have it all for free.
Because you all are totally nonprofit now, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, so that's all like tax deductible and all the good stuff.
All the good things that you get for being big-hearted and supporting art like we all should. Yes.
Exactly.
I do want to mention quickly that it is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So I just want to encourage people to go out and research theaters here and abroad about of that heritage. You can go to Asian Pacific heritage.gov. There was a whole bunch of great information that I saw there this morning. And then, where did I put this is the Coalition of Wisconsin. It's the thing that I have up. They have a great Facebook group. They do live videos fairly frequently. And they're still talking about, because it's important, because it's not over yet, Stop Asian Hate. And that's a great resource for that. So Asian American Pacific Islander Coalition of Wisconsin on Facebook. Check them out. Got to give the big shout out to Imagine MKE for, first of all, offering this platform to us, and really thank them so much for the brilliant video that we played at the top of show that was for 414 Day. They're just a really awesome theater advocacy organization. If you have the theater advocacy itch, please go to imaginemke.org/act, and they will hold your hand through all of it and make sure that you have all the tools that you need to speak to your representatives and get us more funds, because it's important. We're going to have more shows about that and talk more about that, and how to get more money to Sunstone, and how to get more money to Brew City, and how to get more money to all the small organizations and, large organizations too in Milwaukee. Well, I want to start a new thing here, especially since we're gearing up to get back to live. As safely and amazingly as we can. Shakespeare in the Park, Milwaukee, has a bunch of job openings right now. The one that I saw from Susan Fry that she was blasting about was they're looking for a sound engineer. I'm going to make sure that we get a jobs tab up on the website so that we can start making sure that all of our companies have a voice on the site about what is open, and you will have one location to go and see all the work that's out there. The sound engineer position, and they're going to set up the sound system, mics for actors, and all that for their live performances and or filmed web series.
So the ideal candidate would have knowledge of both live theater and pre-recorded.
Don't we all have that now?
I think everyone but me.
Oh, okay. You've just been able to skirt by without having to actually.
I just feign ignorance and faint every time I'm supposed to do something, and then it eventually gets done.
Well, it's because you're nice to look at. That's how that works. If you're nice to look at, you don't have to do anything.
I think I'm right on the edge of that, though. Like I can't trade on that for much longer.
It's the voice too. You've got the voice.
I'm the talent, yes.
Yeah, and the talent. Blah, blah, blah. Keep going, Tim. Keep talking about your awesomeness. You doing that. But anyway, you can go to freeshakespeareinthepark.org. Freeshakespeareinthepark.org. This is a paid, non-union gig, but it's paid. Shakespeare in the Park pays the good monies.
As opposed to the bad monies.
As opposed to the bad monies. Sometimes they're just bad monies. And then I just want to quickly mention, because I have to, that we are still going through the process of revising the Milwaukee Theater Standards at the Theater Alliance. And you can go to MilwaukeeTheaterAlliance.org to help us get through that. We had the open forums. We've gotten a lot of great advice already, but we want to always have more. More voices is more important. So, that's what we got. Things are exploding now.
Yeah. In a good way, like not
like in a good, in a good way that people are getting back to it. And because we're all excited, we've all been sitting in our homes and we're ready to be together with people again. It's what we live for. Speaking of being together again, the last thing I want to mention is Mother's Day.
Ooh, Mother's Day.
Amber was talking about it. Amber's a mom. I'm a mom. We got a lot of moms.
I'm not a mom, but I have a mom.
But you have one. So, whatever your mom means to you, because we know that moms are not always the person who gave birth to you. Give them, even if it's a virtual hug, give them one of those. Give them a call. I've been sending a lot of things to my husband lately about cleaning memes.
Nice.
I'm not subtle.
You? Not subtle?
I'm not
what?
a subtle person. I was not meant to be subtle ever. So please, just be nice to your moms. And thank you, Mr. Rebers, for coming.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah. I'm glad I made it all the way through.
See how the universe likes to toy with me. I was all harried this morning because I was trying to get, the 414 video and everything, everything connected and all that. And then you come in and your internet's not gonna do it.
It was literally fine until 2 minutes before, and then it freaked out, and then it's been fine until 2 minutes after we were supposed to start. So thanks, internet.
It's just me. I am that self-centered to think that there is a universal vendetta against me. But thank you. And again, go to brewcityopera.com to check out. You've got some heavy hitters in that.
It is. Yeah, people have been rightly astonished, because I'm astonished by it myself, at how the level of talent and the quality of the sound recording and production is really, really great. And I'm super proud of it. And so I'm trying to keep from completely just bullying everyone over all the time about how amazing it is, but it's really amazing, and you should go check it out, and you will love it.
Awesome. So check that out. And hopefully we'll get Amber back next week to host, and we'll have a new guest, because that's what we do around here. So thank you all out there for being here, and tell your friends. to join us, because we do like the live questions.
Yeah.
So we'd love to have you. But thank you all so much, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
On You've Got a thing.